Hi everyone, Scribbler Johnny checking in before we begin Pendulum, which is in the official version of things the third novel in Masks in Yokohama, but was actually originally book two before I wrote Pivot and the Wolf to become the official continuity backstory. But chronologically, I had written Pivot and the Wolf at the end after I had written Forever Ends Tonight. But so Pendulum begins in a flashback where there are certain things that I wanted to get cleaned up. So parts will be new, parts will be sort of retreading familiar ground. Please be patient with that in the introduction here. And so where we begin, Hiroi and Shinichi are 17 years old. And when Hiroi first meets Harumi, she is a year older than him. And so that's where that stands. And we will now begin. Pendulum. Masks in Yokohama. 5 years before Pivot became the Nemesis Sensei. 1 year after Wolf Gal left her lovers bleeding in the rain, Pivot met Foxfire. Pivot was 17 years old, still getting the hang of his powers. Craftsman hadn't abandoned his parents as garbage yet. Pivot's parents were still married, but there was a distance noticeable. Craftsman had declined to join Pivot on patrol that fateful night. His mother was sick again, which meant Shinichi Nagasawa was going to stay home and take care of the drunk. Shin's dad had left them shortly after Wolfgal had stabbed Craftsman and Pivot in the back, running away to Roppongi to live with his lover, Kentaro. Shinichi's mother took it poorly, completely heedless of the fact that her son put on a costume at night and paid their bills with money from crimes and gadgets that he sold to other students. She was a bit busy drinking herself to death. Pivot knew this, but he didn't cry. Hiroi had shed his fair share of tears for himself and his dysfunctional brother-in-arms, but Pivot had no room for tears. Pivot needed money, and notoriety, which would lead to more money. Pity was not on the menu. He made his way over the fence that stood between him and the bank's deposit drop box. He lightened himself and slipped down the other side. His visibility was suffering since his mask covered his whole face, but the protection to his identity was worth it, he decided. He would later change his mind in a new design, but for now Pivot was looking for guards. His timing and his memorization of their patrol routes was sound. He ran lightly to the box. It was bolted to the pavement, and the rear access panel was secured with a simple lock that used an unusual key. Pivot had the master key, though. He increased his weight and kicked the panel. Metal tore with an abrupt shriek. Pivot opened the panel and stuffed the deposit envelopes into his pouch. Pivot ran back the way he'd come, jumping and climbing the fence with the aid of his weight control powers and super strength. At the hideout, which was actually an abandoned candy shop, Pivot went through the deposit slips to count his earnings. Not a whole lot, but it would help him feed Craftsman and his mom, and provide him with some spending money. He felt pangs of guilt as his eyes were drawn to the names on the deposit slips. He couldn't keep stealing from the little people. He and Craftsman could go after bigger people, like the Zaibatsus and the Bentengumi. Bigger risks, bigger rewards, and a cleaner conscience. He tossed the bank papers into a trash bag and left it on the pile outside for burning the next day. with the other business garbage. And then it started to rain. Shit! He was not dressed for rain. His uniform was essentially a morph suit. Water poured right in through the fabric. He ran to take shelter under an awning, and then he saw her, also sheltered under the same awning. Her nipples were poking out from the cold, through her lycra uniform. It was orange and black with a flame motif. She looked kind of like a pro wrestler. Her mask was very much like a luchadora. "It's rude to stare, Mask," she said, smiling at his muscles. "So it is. Shall I call a cab and take us to dinner? My treat." "Well, how can I say no to that?" she replied with a fresh smile. She was wearing pink lipstick, and it was very glossy, he could see. Pivot pulled his cell phone out of a waterproof pouch on his utility harness and turned away to pull up his mask so he could make the call. He wrung water out of it as he waited for an answer. Yes, I need a pickup at this address and a ride to Happy Steakhouse," when the operator answered. "Thank you." And then he hung up and put his phone away, giving his mask a final twist. "I'm Foxfire," the cutie with the enticing nipples said. He pulled his mask back on and adjusted his goggles before turning to introduce himself. "Pivot's not a name," she laughed. "It's my name," he replied. "So what, your power is that you're a lever?" Foxfire teased. "Something like that." "I have fire powers. I can control smoke, and I can see through it clear as day, and I can breathe it and all." "Good powers," he admired, continuing to admire her body. "So, listen, I don't have a boyfriend at the moment," Foxfire said. "How convenient. Neither do I," Pivot replied. "But don't think I'm going to date you just because we're going to dinner. I'm just going with you to get out of the rain. This Yokohama rain might last until tomorrow." "I know. Call it a professional courtesy. I may need a favor later." The taxi arrived, and Pivot opened the door for Foxfire. "Happy Steakhouse, right?" the white-gloved driver asked. "Yes, thank you," Pivot replied. Note to self, new uniform. This rain nonsense is unacceptable. Also, consider armor, he thought. He paid the driver in cash and led Foxfire to the steakhouse. While waiting to be seated, he made a decision and removed his mask in front of her. Foxfire followed suit, patting at her face with a paper napkin to dry off and salvage her makeup. "Hiroi," he said. "Harumi," she replied. The restaurant was warm and dry, and they didn't have to wait long. During the year since Emi's disappearance, Hiroi had not gone on many dates. He'd just third-wheeled a few times with Shin and his current girlfriend Chiharu. Shin felt no embarrassment to date an underclassman, and Hiroi didn't crack any jokes. After all, he wasn't really any better, and his trust in women was a bit shaky. His relationship with porn was always safe, though. And he had to admit Harumi was cute, and he kept staring at her well-built frame. Some people would joke that big boobs was the most common superpower, and, well, some masks did tend that direction. Harumi ordered a big meal, as did Hiroi. The gifts came with increased appetites. They didn't talk while they ate, and they devoured their food quickly. After declining anything else, Hiroi paid the bill and sipped on his green tea. "So, hero or villain?" he finally asked her. "Villain. You?" "Also. I like a woman who likes to eat." "What did I say?" "I know, but you're really cute." "I like you, but I'm not going to date you right away. I'm not one of those slut masks." Nobody admitted to being a slut mask. But relationships in masked society were fast, brief, and frequent. To an outsider, all masks were sluts. Contrary to her word, Foxfire pulled Pivot into the doors of a love hotel after they left the steakhouse. Before he could say, "Hey, here's a candy bar on the pillow," Foxfire was all over him. Something about being in uniform drove some people wild, Pivot included. He loved uniform sex, and by how she screamed, so did Foxfire. Afterward, as she caught her breath, she insisted, "Don't get used to this. You gotta earn it later, Pivot," she said. "Of course, you're not a slut," Pivot replied. "Right. We should totally team up. We can do big jobs together. So what's your power set anyway?" Foxfire asked. Pivot explained it to her. "Now Pivot makes sense. It's still a stupid name. What would you pick?" "A name that had nothing to do with my powers but still sounded cool," Foxfire replied. "Oh, like Foxfire?" he asked. "Oh, I don't know, like Shadow Walker or Crusher or something." Crusher actually wasn't bad now that he thought of it. Pivot handed her the candy bar from the pillow. "Oh, it's my favorite," she said, and then she was soon kissing him again. "Don't worry, I have a pocket just for condoms," she said, "but I didn't say any." But she was already slipping one of those condoms onto him with her teeth. "I don't put any old dick into my mouth. I'm not a slut," she said, and then proceeded to do exactly that. Foxfire pulled off her uniform and then proceeded to pull off his as well, even his goggles. "Ah, face to face, Hiroi, you and me, before our time's up," Harumi whispered, pulling him atop her. He was surprised to find that he was ready again so soon. There was something about Harumi, and she screamed just as loud as before, so maybe the mask wasn't it. "You're my boyfriend now. I don't care if you have some little bitch claiming you at school or whatever. You're mine now. I own this dick," Harumi ordered, squeezing him. Whatever you say, honey," he agreed. "Yeah, mine." There was a discreet 10 taps on the door. 10 minutes left on their hour. Harumi pushed him off and finished eating the candy bar, now ignoring him completely. "Harumi, let's exchange phone numbers," he said. "Shut up. Chocolate," she replied. She took his phone out of his hand and scanned it with her own. "I have your number now," she said, swallowing the last bite and pulling on her panties. She tossed his phone on the bed. "Harumi, that was amazing. It's never been like that for me before," Hiroi said. She finished pulling on her uniform. "Aw, that's sweet. You weren't bad yourself. Listen, you can have one more boob touch and then I'm out of here." "What about your number?" "You'll know when I call you. Now, now you lost that right to the boob touch. Night, hero." With that, Harumi was gone, leaving him naked and alone in the Love Hotel room. Hiroi pulled his uniform on and became Pivot. He left in a daze. Foxfire didn't act anything like other girlfriends, not even Wolfgal, and she was crazy. He stepped out into a curtain of rain and was drenched once more, with his lenses covered in water dripping through his mask. "Definitely a new uniform," he grumbled. Shinichi's mom had gone to sleep after singing lullabies to baby Shin. He unhooked her bra so she wouldn't get uncomfortable as she slept and pulled her blanket up to her chin. "Wake up feeling better, Mom," Shin said. He ate a rice ball and looked at one of his erotic comics. He woke up noticing his pillow was damp and he didn't quite know why. He and Hiro rode the train to school together. Hiro gave him a blank envelope. Your share of my wages from last night, he explained. But Shin knew instinctively. They'd been taking care of his mom for a few months now. She never even wondered how the bills kept getting paid or why she never ran out of beer. She was like a zombie, but not the good flesh-eating kind that you can kill and burn. She was the bad sleepwalking kind that you had to feed and clean up after and allow to hug you and call you its baby. Shin didn't feel like he was a good son. He felt like he was a resentful caretaker. But what was he to do? Chiharu said that she was proud of him, and that felt good, but really, these days he found himself hating his mom. She'd abandoned him just as much as his dad had. Hiro was lucky. His parents acted like parents. Ah, she had the most amazing boobs, Hiro was saying. Shit, he'd missed out while he was moping. And she was really good with her mouth. Shin wanted Hiro to compare this girl's boobs to Emmy's, but Hiro didn't allow him to talk about her. He knew that they both thought about her all the time. Hiro had said that he wanted to kill her for betraying them, but Shin just wanted her back, wanted her love. Chiharu was nice, but she had acne and little mosquito bump boobs, and, well, she was a civilian. Plus, she refused to have sex with him until they got out of high school. And that was months away. Forever. Shin, can you believe these masked chicks? Wild, right? Shin replied. Maybe he would go out tonight and pick up some strange. Poor Hiro hadn't had any for who knew how long. At least Shin had that brief fling with Thorn. Where had she gone? And Chiharu was better than nothing. She sounds weird, though, right? Hiro asked. For sure, bro. You should give her to me and then get yourself a nice safe girl, like our class president Moroboshi, Shin replied. Nah, I don't have enough money to slip my hand under Kaori's sweater, much less take her to a love hotel, Hiro laughed. Hey, I heard the rich ice queen thing is just an act, and she'll get down and dirty if she's mad at her dad, or if she can blame circumstances on it. I bet she'd lift her skirt for Pivot, and then she would say a masked man raped her. No thanks. Maybe Craftsman has a chance then. Shine a blue penlight on her and call her an aphrodisiac ray. They laughed at this and then hurried off the train. Hold up, I'm going to grab a station sandwich, Shin said, running off. Damn it, I'm hungry too, now that you put the idea in my head, jerk. And Hiroi chased after his friend. Watch it, schoolboy, shouted a middle-aged woman dressed in a yukata. He saw a glimpse of a carp tattoo. Sorry, ma'am, I have to run to school, he called out after stopping to bow. Get moving, kid, said the man with her. He had a crew cut and a pinky ring that probably cost as much as his dad made in 6 months. Hiro hurried away. Damned Yakuza. They did make it to school on time. Sitting in homeroom, Shin began doodling a plan for a device that would help him blend into the scenery. He might even be able to sneak into locker rooms and that kind of thing. But then he would need to have a place to hide. Maybe if he could stick to the walls like a gecko. Gecko gloves, that was an even better idea. Something really useful that could even have civilian applications. Craftsman could go anywhere with them. Forget stupid crap like spying in locker rooms like a pervert. Hiroi noticed there was a pink envelope in his footlocker. H. You are cute, but most of all very well built. That judo and swimming is doing you good. I have admired you for a while, and I heard that Emmy broke your heart when she moved away. I'd like to try and mend your broken heart. Leave your reply with a Sagittarius symbol drawn on it inside the knothole in the cedar tree by the archery club. Kisses and hugs. Why? The note read. High school flirting was so cloak and dagger. Hiro had no time for this crap. But what if she was worth it? Maybe pretty enough, but more normal than Harumi? He took a chance and wrote a reply during geometry. Why? It's true, I've been hurting, but I am ready to try again. Please no more secrets, though. Let's meet face to face. H. He folded the note and drew the zodiac symbol onto the lined paper. And what kind of girl was Miss Y? Could it be Yae? She wasn't very cute, but she was smart and tall for a girl. Yoshimi was cute, if a bit chubby. Those were the only girls he knew with names that started with Y. Yuta. Shit, what if it was Yuta? Yuta didn't act gay, but you couldn't always be certain. And Hiro wasn't quite sure how to gently let down another guy. Hiro quickly unfolded the note, and then he added, P.S. I only like girls. And then he refolded it and hid it in his pocket. During lunch, he snuck up to the tree and tucked his note away in the knothole, and then tried to casually walk away, and hurried to devour his lunch. Oh, the cafeteria doesn't serve meat often enough, Hidori griped. Fine for me. Maybe your body needs more protein because of... Shin replied. Maybe. I could start drinking those shakes and taking vitamins, Hiro said. Shin offered to take care of bussing their trays. Thanks, but why? Hiro asked. For taking good care of me. Like a real brother, Shin replied. Ever since that night, I am your real brother, Hiro whispered. Shin nodded and left to put away their trays. After lunch, but before class resumed, Hiro found 3 more notes in his footlocker. This filled him with dread. Hiro considered himself very forgettable, and he liked it most of the time. He became suspicious of a possible prank or chain letters in disguise. Still, he took the notes before anyone could notice they were there in the pink paper. Those stationery stores and their stupid pink love note paper. Hiro sat at his desk and stacked his books to create a fortress of privacy. Sweet H, I saw you tuck a note into the love note tree. Whoever she is, I'm a better choice for girlfriend. Call me tonight. Heart, heart, Sazae. Sazae? He looked around. She was in his geometry class. Oh, Sazae. She winked and made a little kissy face. Wow, that was forward. Sazae had glasses too, and she had really nice hair. She was a bit plain. She always wore long skirts and big sweaters, so he had no idea what her body was like, instead of the usual sweater vest for their school uniform. But she played clarinet. That was interesting. He opened the second note. H, thank you for your fast reply. Of course I'm a girl, silly. I'm really shy about talking to you face to face, though. Maybe can we text? Just texting, though? If you call, I won't answer. Why? Then Miss Y left her cell number. The third note read, Hiroi-chan, forget that other girl. Date me instead. I'll let you touch me you know where. Think about it. Asuka. Sheesh. One note that he thought he'd been sneaky about, and then suddenly he was Mr. Popular. This felt like a ticking time bomb. Suddenly he had 3 girls' phone numbers. So much time, a dry spell, nothing. And then Harumi, Y, Sazae, and Asuka. Still, he could at least talk to them. Talking was safe. Asuka's offer was even more forward than Sazae had been, and that made him extra nervous. When he thought about Asuka, she had very short tomboyish hair, and she was on the swim team, though, very athletic, and she competed in high jump. She did have a tomboyish cute charm. Hmm, not one of these girls was ugly or even all that plain. They were all quite within what he considered cute. He was not used to girls who didn't know him as a mask liking him in the first place, especially not cute girls. And then he had to laugh. For her forwardness, Asuka had still called it you know where. She couldn't even say up my skirt. She was probably a virgin, and the only virgin he'd been with was Emmy. They had taken turns, him and Shin, and it had worked until. What was he going to do? He finished his schoolwork and rode the train home with Shin. He didn't make any mention of the love notes, knowing that Shin would just make fun of him. And for his part, Shin was subdued. I'm thinking about breaking up with Chiharu, he said. Why? You have a lot of fun together, Hiro replied. Yeah, but with my mom and all. Bro, your mom's self-destruction shouldn't control your life. If it's starting to feel like it is, drag her to Alcoholics Anonymous. Would you go with me? Of course. I care about her too. One of these nights, maybe. But Shin had already given up on his mom. As far as he was concerned, she was already dead. That night, Shin started packing his things and searching the internet for a cheap apartment. Chiharu was sympathetic. She really was a sweet girl. He didn't want to hurt her, so he decided to not break up with her. Hiro spent a long time staring at his ceiling. He should maybe get a poster to put up there. So he texted Y. Hello, sweetie. Can you tell me who you are yet? No, but I'll be very nice until I know that you won't reject me. Well, I won't. Have I ever been mean? He replied. I would be crushed if you said no. Hiroi sighed. Trust me. I'm nice. I'm texting you, aren't I? So what do you think about chubby girls? Hello, Yoshimi. You realize I know who you are now? I think you're cute. Y replied, You know who I am? You think I'm cute? Yes, I do, Yoshimi. Well, I think you're cute too. Listen, we can meet for coffee sometime, right? Yeah, I'd like that. Great. So he would meet her, and he would see where it went. He didn't know a thing about Yoshimi, really. And then he texted Asuka. Hi, sweetie. It's Hiro. Oh, I'm sweet, am I? I'll take it. How are you tonight? Asuka replied. They chatted about casual stuff and swim team. So, I was serious in my note, Hiro-chan. I don't tease, she texted suddenly. Why would you do that? He asked. Emmy already broke you in. She was a real bad girl, so I know she taught you how to do it right. So, you'll let me reach up your skirt because you think that I'm good at it? He replied. It sounds all gross when you put it that way. Listen, I like you and I want to do stuff with you. It's nicer my way. You're a horny girl who wants to feel good. Admit it or I will never date you. Okay, I'm horny and I want to feel good with you. Please don't make me talk dirty. You like me because you think Emmy was a bad girl, so you think that I'm not a virgin and I can teach you about sex. Hiro texted. I like you because you're you. Somehow, I don't believe you, Asuka. And then Asuka sent him a photo of her smiling and wearing makeup. See? I put on makeup just for you. Haven't we known each other for a while from swim team? I really do like you. How long had he known Asuka? All right, well, we can hang out sometime. Good night, he texted. And that left Sazae, and of course Harumi. He noticed he had some notifications on Twitter. He logged into his Pivot account. Foxfire had tweeted, "Pivot is my man now, so you better keep away from him, bitches." Someone called Voltage Mayumi replied, "Who cares? Pivot is a small timer. He'll go to college and get an office job and leave the mask." Pivot replied, "Who are you? I hope Mayumi isn't your real name." Voltage Mayumi deleted her post. He scoffed. Amateurs pretending to be the real deal. He yawned and did some work on his homework. He fell asleep on his desk. Goro Matsui saw Hiroi asleep on his desk and smiled. "Work hard and be successful, son. Have a better life than me," Goro thought. He went to his bedroom and found Akane lying awake in the dark with her glasses on. "Akane, what's going on?" he whispered, changing into his pajamas. "Goro, are we happy?" she asked softly. "I am. I have a beautiful and capable wife who makes her own money, and a smart son who knows how to work hard. My life is good," he replied. "Do you remember the night I was sent to the hospital?" "Of course. I was so worried. Those damn muggers." Akane hadn't been mugged. Yokai Girl had run afoul of the Iron Oyaji. He'd assaulted her and left her with a reminder not to mess with the Bentengumi in the form of a broken arm in addition to an ironclad punch that had broken two of her ribs. Akane felt no guilt for her lie to her husband. Yokai Girl was another life, another person. "Goro, what if I retired?" "So soon? Is being an art dealer so taxing on you?" "Well, I'll support your decision. Maybe you'll want to stay home?" Playing homemaker was the last thing Akane wanted. Hiroi didn't need her. He was resilient and self-sufficient. She'd seen to it. When Yokai Girl had refused to mentor Pivot the years prior, her boy Hiro didn't need anyone, just like her. Goro began to fondle her, thinking his fantasy of a housewife was going to become real and wanting to celebrate. She took off her glasses. "Come here, Goro-chan. Let's play Last Night on Earth," she said in that eager voice that drove her husband wild. If she pretended they'd never see each other again, she could pretend that she was in love. The next day was Saturday, and Hiroi's class was responsible for doing extra cleaning at the school. Shinichi had built a little floor cleaning drone and brought it to school hidden in his satchel. He'd also bought another of those digital picture frames disguised as a watch. Well, it told time too, and it was filled with porn that he planned to sell to class president Moriboshi's younger brother. The Moroboshis were rich, and one wondered why their kids were at this public school. Still, Ken paid more than it was worth for the convenience of it being pre-loaded and a handy feature that reverted to the clock whenever a sensor was covered. Ken paid in full, and Shin smiled. "Tell your friends." Hiroi passed and clapped him on the shoulder. "Another satisfied customer, eh?" "Courtesy and service with a smile," Shin replied, putting his money into his wallet. "The customer is God." "So, I'm moving out, Hiro. Will you help me out tomorrow?" "Whoa, seriously, Shin? Like, leaving your mom?" "Yeah, the rent's paid up for the month." I'll leave her a letter. That's cold, bro. What happened to AA? She's the walking dead, bro. She's not my mom anymore. Well, yeah, I'll help you. I'm the best for the job, right? Until I build a sex robot, yeah. Hiro put him in a headlock. Don't you hide the Hobot from me. I get one too. Okay, okay. Hiro released him and put his arm around his shoulder. In their classroom, Sazae kept making eyes at him and even pulled up her skirt a little as he looked back at her. Were so many girls that horny? Had he become good looking just because some other girl wanted him? And why didn't girls make sense? He partly wanted to go back to being invisible. At least then he knew where he stood and what to expect. In judo club, Hiroi was in charge of the lessons that day. In the dojo, all of his troubles were left outside. He was almost as collected and capable as when he was pivot. He led the club in fall drills. Remember, this could save your life one day, he said to encourage the club to take the drills seriously. And he practiced with one of his underclassmen. Use the number 2 throw. Know how to do it? The freshman nodded. He did well, Hiro complimented him. In the showers after judo club, Hiro tried to not think about his girl situation, but the image of Sazae lifting up her skirt crept into his mind. He changed the shower to cold water quickly. Ah, he called out, it really wakes me back up, the cold water. Fukuda, a senior, laughed. You were thinking about girls, liar. Hiro laughed and then turned off the water. I admit it. Hey, who was it? Momiji? Fukuda asked, grabbing his towel. Sazae, Hiro admitted. Maybe she's more in your league than Momiji, Fukuda said thoughtfully. Hiro said nothing. Hey, not that you wouldn't have a chance, Matsui. I'm not trying to be a jerk. Hiro waved him off. It's fine. He grabbed his own towel. And on the train ride home, Hiro asked Shin, do you think all girls are crazy? Pretty much, bro. If it weren't that way, the world would be completely different. Thank goodness for porn stars. So, when you're moved into your new place, do you think Chiharu will put out there? I honestly didn't even think about that. She's pretty set on the graduation thing. I haven't pressured her. My hand still works, you know. Does she let you touch her at least? That's none of your business. No, then. Piss off. Hey, come on patrol tonight. We'll pick up a masked girl to be your special friend tonight, Hiro suggested. Didn't you get enough using your powers moving desks? I want to exercise more, get stronger, get better control. Also, I want you to blow off some steam and be happier. Shin laughed. All right, I'll tell Craftsman. At home, Hiro was surprised to see that his mother was home. Mom? How was your day? He asked as he took off his shoes. I hear that Yokai Girl wants to retire, she said. So she should. Better than dying. She can go home and be a mother, Hiro said. His mother looked hard at him. She was never meant for motherhood. She tried, though. For what it's worth, she's sorry. Hiro sat down beside her. Mom, listen. It's not too late. We can be a family still. I'll always need you. She shook her head. No, Hiroi. You don't need me now, and you won't ever. You're self-sufficient. Pivot's been running solo just as much as he's been running with that craftsman, so I heard. And something broke inside Hiroi. Akane Matsui didn't know it, but she had cut her son deeply. You're right. I guess I don't need anybody, he said, standing up and walking away. We can talk any time, Hiroi. We're not strangers. No, Akane, we're not strangers. I know your name, he replied coldly. He closed his bedroom door and texted Sazae. You tease me like a naughty girl. Are you bad, Sazae? Do you want to be bad with me? She replied. Well, yes, Hiro-chan. I can meet you tonight if you want. I only like bad girls. Don't you waste my time if you're thinking of being goody-goody. Oh, I'm bad, Hiro. I know. Hmm. The most important question I have, though, Sazae. Why? Is it because you want to steal me? Am I a conquest? I actually like you. You're smart and you're generous and kind. Oh, I'm not kind, Sazae, he thought to himself. I'm a fool who thinks that being nice helps me. My own mother doesn't love me, so how could you? We'll get what we want out of each other and be satisfied. Love and happiness are lies. He then texted, Shinichi is moving into his own apartment tomorrow. I'll buy a new futon just for me and you. Isn't it romantic? He texted. Wow, our own place away from our families. That is romantic. I'll wear special perfume. Good, I like that. I'll call you after we're moved in and settled. And then he texted Shin. Plans, bro. I'll help pay for rent on your new place and food like we were doing before, but I'm also going to buy a new futon to put in, and we'll take half of your apartment as a clubhouse. You cool with that idea? Man, you fuck anybody, I get to record it. Deal. I'll set up the cameras tonight. Everything was give and take in life. Levers pivoting, gears turning. Hiroi felt an overwhelming clarity. He knew how the world worked. There were rules, and he would learn them all, and then he would be safe. He did some sketches visualizing his new uniform. He would need Shin's help, of course, but it would be within their abilities. With the preliminary sketch finished, he texted his dad, I won't be able to work at the pool tomorrow. I'm going to be helping Shin pack and move. Oh, I'm sorry to hear he's having troubles. You're a good friend, Hiro. Oh, please don't call me Hiro anymore. I'm not a little boy, Dad. I'm almost 18, he replied. Right you are. No problem, son. The pendulum was swinging. The machinery was running. And then Harumi called him. Hey, Hiro-chan. Tonight, do you want to meet Foxfire at Ghost Alley? Leave Pivot at home. Oh, I had plans with my best friend. Besides, Craftsman is taking Pivot on patrol. Foxfire can pick up a girlfriend, and then they can meet Pivot and Craftsman. Ooh, those two are selective after Wolfgal stabbed them in the back. I was thinking Generator. She's not as hot as me, but she's got a good look. Leroy checked Mask Twitter for Generator. She had red hair and a slim build, and she was certainly not ugly by any means. If she puts out, Craftsman will love her. He likes petite women. Is he a secret lolicon? Maybe. Some men go through a phase of that, don't they? Are you? Laughing face. No, I like big boobs too much. You like my boobs. Yes, very much. Yeah, you're all mine, Hiro-chan. Don't call me that. My name's Hiroi. I'm a man. Oh, yes, sir. I'll make a man out of you tonight. He then texted Shin. Great news. Pivot and Craftsman are going to Ghost Alley to meet with Foxfire and Generator. It's a sure thing, bro. Generator? The redhead? You got it. She's very nice. I'm jealous even. Liar. You rotten liar. You want that Foxfire all to yourself. Won't even share her like, Shin texted. And then he texted, "Sorry, I know that we don't talk about that other woman. I'm past that now. Emmy fucked us both in the good and bad ways, but it's over with. We're men now. We made it through the crucible stronger than ever." Yeah, right. But Shin didn't feel strong. He felt desperate and afraid. He wanted to run away and find Emmy and beg her to come back to them, or at least to run away. This new apartment was just running away. He couldn't watch his mom slowly die, and he couldn't try to save her either. Failing that would kill him. So he was running away, pretending he didn't care. He suspected Hiro was pretending too. Emmy had been both of their first lover. The three of them had grown together like some plants that intertwine and keep growing. Botany wasn't Shin's thing. With no warning, she'd nearly killed them and vanished. Shin wanted to go back to that golden time. They were a sort of family. He needed that. Would Chiharu be willing to be the new Emmy? How about that weirdo Harumi? Could any woman take the place of his lost freckled love? Shin doubted it. Nobody ever caught two unicorns. And as he remembered Emmy, he reached down to touch himself, and then took a shower. He thought of her in the shower, too. Memories of Emmy laughing and doing naked cartwheels in the 24-hour laundromat, her curly hair flying. Emmy feeding him pieces of tomato right from her chopsticks. She hated tomatoes so much. Emmy calling him while she was fucking Hiro. Hiro begging her to stop it, embarrassed and scared of hurting Shin's feelings. Emmy laughing and laughing and laughing. Emmy calling out his name as she felt Hiro inside her, confident in her birth control pills. Emmy playing old video games with him and laughing. Wolfgal laughing from the branches of a tree, calling for pivoting craftsmen to climb up and join her. Wolfgal laughing with a hoppy coat over her uniform, catching the goldfish at the Matsuri. Wolfgal not looking back as she left them bleeding in the rain. Pivot covering him with his own body, shielding him. Emmy crying about her dead goldfish. She'd overfed them. Shin didn't know if he was crying in the shower. He hoped not. He was a man now. He couldn't let any woman get her claws into him again. He didn't want another Emmy. He wanted a stable, regular girlfriend. Maybe after having some fun with Generator, he'd stay away from masked girls entirely. Masks were weirder and crazier than civilians any day. After his shower, after drying off, he texted Chiharu. "Hey, sweetie, tomorrow night we're going to have dinner at my new apartment. It will be just you, me, Hiroi, and Saze from our homeroom. What do you say?" "That sounds fun," she replied. "That Hiroi is a bad boy, though. All the girls say he's been getting weird and might even be one of those costume people." "Hiroi's not a mask. He just had a really bad breakup with Emmy, and his parents might be getting divorced. He's having trouble, but he's not crazy. Don't you worry about Hiroi. Worry about me. Rawr." "Naughty Shin, you know my rule." "Yes, sweetie, I love you. I love you too, Shinichi." And then there was a bad taste in Shin's mouth. Tell Chiharu you love her, and then go off to fuck a stranger. Real good boyfriend, Shin. But Chiharu wanted to wait, and he was not the type to pressure her. But he was used to having lots of sex thanks to Emmy, but he wanted to be good to Chiharu. But he felt so crappy, and he thought that sex would cheer him up. And Hiroi was also in the shower, and he was thinking about Wolfgal. The time Wolfgal had snuck into his bedroom one night took him quite by surprise. She nipped him softly with her big fangs, and she kept whispering how much she loved him, her wolf mask tickling his skin. Hiroi had made love to Wolfgal that night, her growling softly and just repeating, I love you, Hero. I love you. I love you, as she dug her nails into his back. She still didn't raise her voice above a whisper. I love you, Wolfgal, he said, trembling as the final waves of their passion ebbed away. And Wolfgal licked his face then. And now you always will. She pulled his curtain aside. Look at the moon princess smiling down on Wolfgal and Hiro Matsui. She knows that you're still twitching in my arms. And she knows that we love each other. Every full moon will remind you Wolfgal is yours. Hiroi leaned against the wall of his shower. Fuck you and the moon, Wolfgal. Fuck you and the moon, he whispered, and he bit his cheek to prevent tears. I will kill you for betraying us, he swore. Tonight, he'd make Foxfire scream loud enough to drown out Wolfgal's whispers. Pivot could make it happen. Pivot could fuck any woman so good that she would never leave him. And he would prove it tonight. Nothing and no one could break Pivot. He turned off the water and stared at his reflection and the water dripping down his face. You are stronger than any woman, Hiroi. No one will ever hurt you again. Your heart is armored, he insisted to his reflection. And then he dried off and cleaned up the water that had spilled onto the floor. Hiroi pulled on some workout clothes and packed his uniform in his satchel with his boots. He didn't bother with his mask, just his prescription goggles. He packed some extra bottled water, too. He noticed his parents were away when he left. He didn't bother leaving a note. Hiroi saw that there were masks and capes on the train, and he smiled inwardly. He could have left home in uniform, and it wouldn't have mattered. A woman whose costume resembled a manta ray was giving him the eye. He smiled and looked away, feigning shyness. Whew, a grown woman. What did it matter? He was a man now, right? So he looked at her again, and she smiled underneath her hood, and she handed him a business card when she departed the train. He walked among the masks who were all apparently going to Ghost Alley, leaving most of the capes to go to Cape Town, and wonder why those other costumed people had gotten off at the wrong stop. He looked at the business card. Miss Manta, heroine and counselor, troubled boys are my specialty. He put the business card into his satchel. What kind of powers could Miss Manta have? Empathy? Listening skills? Water breathing? And how did a person learn that they can breathe underwater? Did their instincts tell them? Hiroi's weight control power had been a discovery at the gym. And he thought about the scale and worrying that it had been broken. And he saw his weight changing and gradually returning to normal. And he had become fascinating by the digital display back in the gym. And he saw his weight continue to increase. And after that, it was like a game that he would play with himself at the gym. His increased strength hadn't manifested until an accident at the train station. A train had derailed and crashed into the platform, and Hiroi had forced the crumpled doors open to help people get out. A mask, who was also a police officer, was quickly there and took the credit for the rescue effort. Stupid Officer Samson. Why was he even at the train station anyway? No newspapers ever mentioned Hiroi's quick response to the emergency, but a woman had given him a jar of pickles as thanks. They were homemade, and he had never found pickles that tasted that good ever again. Hiroi showed the doorman at Ghost Alley his membership card, and he went into the men's room to change. On his way out, Pivot saw Shin. He nodded at him. Ghost Alley was the main masked night spot. It was neutral ground, and anyone could be there, dressed in uniform or civilian clothes. No one mattered. They could be anyone, any way they wanted. Pivot waited for Craftsman. It was well known that they were partners. He came out shortly, and they both looked for a table. Surprisingly, Foxfire and Generator had beat them there. Craftsman smiled. "Oh, yes, I like Generator," he said into Pivot's ear. They joined the ladies at their table. "I could murder a beef bowl. Are you hungry?" Pivot asked. "I'll eat anything you buy, handsome," Generator said. Foxfire elbowed her. "Pivot's mine. Craftsman is your hottie." Craftsman nodded. "I don't bite unless you ask me to." Generator giggled. "Oh, you're bad. I like that." They drank sodas and then left to get some food at a rice bowl stall. The proprietor was in his 60s and had the cook times for his vegetables and meat so perfect he could cook 6 orders at once. They chatted with each other. I wonder if Big Man ever, you know, just to see if he could make just one part of himself grow, Generator asked. They both knew which part she meant. "As far as anyone knows, his power worked on his whole body at once only," Pivot replied. "Would his wife like it if he could, though?" she insisted. "I guess it would depend on how big he was normally, right?" Foxfire added. "Oh, don't worry about Big Man. He's retired and got married. Craftsman's right here, and I guarantee I'm big enough for you," Craftsman boasted. "I know you are. I'm so tight anybody is," Generator teased, wagging her pinky finger suggestively. They stopped talking when the food was ready and ate ravenously. Craftsman invited them to the clubhouse. "Oh, I haven't bought that futon yet," Pivot complained. "It's okay. I've got lots of cushions and pillows," Craftsman said. "I'm in," Generator said, giving a thumb up. Foxfire smiled. "Well, if Generator's in, I'm in." They rode the train to Shin's new apartment. "I'll make a secret entrance later," Craftsman said. "But for right now, it'll do just fine. I got a great price because it's on the 3rd floor and it's unfurnished." He opened the door and waved them in. There were still boxes and bags against the walls, but also the promised cushions and pillows, as well as lots of room and his posters for his favorite movies and video games. He turned on a CD player, and a pop singer began chirping about love, or candy, or both. Pivot closed the door behind them and looked for the cameras. He had already set them up. They were small, but they weren't concealed. Shin said, "The bedroom is there, the bathroom is there, and I've got a rice cooker and a coffee pot set up already." He lit a cigarette, and his orange-scented tobacco smoke drifted upward. He proffered the pack, but everyone else declined. He pulled off his mask and goggles and unfolded his specs to replace them. My real name's Shinichi, he said. Everyone but Generator unmasked, and no one drew attention to it. To unmask was a sign of trust, but masks knew that to remain masked was not a sign of distrust. Some people just liked keeping the mask on as much as possible for their own reasons. I hate idol singers, always going on about love and never sex. They're expected to be virgins until they're 20 or 25, and then finally they can sing about adult relationships, if they still have a career. Generator said, "Ah, the Christmas cake conundrum." And Shin grinned. "Right. After the 25th, who wants it?" Generator replied, and she sat on a cushion. Her uniform was mostly seafoam green, but for her pleated skirt, and that was black, and she wore a domino-style mask. Shin said, "I admire idol singers. They know they have a short expectancy, but they try to shoot for the stars. And so many of them have sleazy, gropey managers or corrupt executives, but they chase their dreams anyway. It's fucking heroic." He took a deep drag of his cig. "Heroic," he repeated for emphasis. And then Generator began singing Courage Take by Peppermint Sisters, and she looked into Shin's eyes directly. He studied her face. "Holy cow, you're Setsuko from Peppermint Sisters!" She nodded and stopped singing. "Really, though, I'm already forgotten," Generator said. "Hey, if you turn off the lights, I'll do a trick." Pivot hurried to turn off the lights. Generator started to glow pink, then yellow, and then she was a one-woman laser light show. She'd pulse with the music, send streamers and beams dancing on the wall, and make them shiver like threads. She stopped when the song ended. They applauded and cheered. "Way to go, Generator," Hiroi said. Shin gave her a kiss. She put an arm around him and returned his kiss. "It's about damn time," she said. "I've been talking about sex all damn night." And then Harumi kissed Hiroi. Shin ground out his cigarette in a glass ashtray and gave Generator another kiss. A pink laser involuntarily shot out of her back. "Let's talk privately in your room, Shin-chan," she whispered, and Shinichi carried her away, just to show that he could. "Well, they'll have a good time. How about us?" Harumi asked. "I like being with you," Hiroi said. "Generator's cool too. I want to be her friend." Harumi smiled. "What else?" she asked. Hiroi gave her a kiss. "I want your beautiful screams to make me forget a girl," he admitted. "Oh, I'm going to make you forget her all right. You're mine, Hiroi, and I'm not going to let you go. Use your power on me. Make me light as a feather." "Well, I can't make you that light, but light enough that I have to hang on tight," he replied. He did. Still, in the dark, Wolfgal whispered, "I love you, Hiroi. I love you. Oh, I love you." And he heard Wolfgal moaning and still whispering, no matter how Harumi screamed, no matter how her perfume clung to his skin, he could smell Wolfgal. She had sprayed his whole wardrobe with her perfume. "My scent is on you, and you're mine," Wolfgal had said. In his arms, Harumi sighed. "I'm so glad I found you. Oh, be mine forever, hero." He collapsed on her chest, panting. "Yes, good boy. Rest now with Harumi, and don't you pull out." Listen, my heartbeat can talk, Emmy had said and laughed. It says, Hiro, 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 kiss me, Hiro, scratch my thighs, Hiro, spank me, Hiro, whisper Emmy as you fill me up, Hiro, love me, Hiro, 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 I love you, Hiro. Emmy laughed, holding his ear over her heart. He found himself looking at the freckles on her chest and listening. Sometimes I love you so much I don't hate myself. Did you know that? Emmy had asked. And then Hiroi cried, while in an intimate embrace with Harumi. Oblivious, Harumi whispered, It's all right, Hiro-chan. You can be mine forever. I love you, Hiro. And he cried. He didn't hate Wolfgal. Wolfgal hated Wolfgal enough for anybody. He just wanted to see her. He missed her. And Harumi smiled. She had never fucked a man so good he cried before. A new personal best. Oh, it would be a shame when she finally traded up. He was good. He'd been well trained. Maybe she'd keep him around as a side piece. Sorry, Hiroi said. Oh, it's fine, baby. I just rocked your world. You rocked me, baby, Harumi said and let out a small giggle. Oh, yes, Hiroi, I'll keep you. Don't you worry. You're mine. And Emmy's voice echoed, You're mine. I'm yours. Of course I love Shin, don't you? Emmy said in his memory. Why can't I love you both? Where is that written? We get to be better than the stories, Hiroi. We get to be together, all of us. My heart loves you both, and I don't care if some grandma somewhere frowns. Hiro dried his tears, and he wiped them away with his hand, rolling onto his back. Harumi snuggled close and pulled her leotard up over her shoulders. What if I had another girlfriend? He asked. I told you already, she has to go. Your dick only belongs in me. I own that dick. What if I was in love with you both? Could you take turns or share or move in together? Impossible. You love me. I'm the only woman good enough for you. Theoretically, she giggled. In this theoretical world where somehow you can conceivably love another woman, she said, giggling as if it were the most absurd notion she had ever heard, I would cremate her. I'd burn that bitch to ash and blow the ash into the river. She laughed out loud at this. Then I'd find you, tie you down, and fuck you until you begged me to forgive you for being unfaithful. You wouldn't want any sex for days while you recovered. That's exactly what would happen. Isn't it nice that I love you so much? I'd forgive you and remind you why you were mine. She kissed him then. Tell me another funny, she demanded. That that was the silliest thing I could think of, Harumi. You're mine and I'm happy. She grew very serious. You misunderstand. I'm not yours. You are mine. She hissed and dug her fingernails into his scrotum. Mine, she hissed. She pinched his flaccid penis. Mine. She pinched his lips. Mine. Be a good boy, and Harumi will never have to hurt you again. I'm sorry, Harumi, he whispered. I forgive you, Hiro-chan. You've been much more good than bad. Buy me a bracelet, and you can earn back blowjob privileges. Wait, when did I lose blowjob privilege? When you revealed you were two-timing me. You dump her, Hiroi, or I will find her and destroy her, she whispered. Do not force me to do it. I don't want to do it, but if I have to. That's it. It's over, Hiroi said, finding his courage. I'm breaking up with you. She laughed at that. Better men than you have tried. Oh, Hiroi, you cannot leave me. I won't allow it. But I will give you your space so you can coddle your ego and reassert your manhood and blah, blah, blah. Then, when you miss me, I will wait one more day and come back. I'll forgive you and we'll be happy again. I mean it, Harumi. I want to break up with you. She pulled on her uniform and her mask, and Foxfire said, You'll be sorry. You'll miss me. And Foxfire left. Hiroi shook with terror. How had that happened? What had happened? Did Generator know? Generator padded softly over and snuggled up to him. We watched it all. Want to come to Shin's room? And I'll make my titties glow? Generator began to then make her skin blink with lights, just like at a disco. Uh, yes, yes, I want a lot of that, Hiroi said. She was naked but for her mask, and she stood to help him to his feet. And a white light poured down her leg. We can do more stuff, too. Shinichi told me about your Emmy. He gave her a hug. She was ours, and she's gone. Generator's here, though. Generator will always be here. The next day, Generator was gone. Plane to South Korea. They never heard from her again. Shin threw away his Peppermint Sisters CD. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Hiroi's parents didn't even notice he'd been gone. He ate, changed his socks and underwear, having used Shin's shower, and he texted Sazae, Are you still ready for tonight? Oh, I'm sorry, Matsui-kun. I met someone new and it's pretty serious, she replied. Go to hell, then. Can't we be friends? No. No, we cannot be friends. He then texted Yoshimi. Want to meet my friend Shinichi and see his new apartment tonight? I'm buying takeout Korean barbecue. If friends will be there, that's okay. Shin's girlfriend Chiharu will be there too. It will be fun. After sending that message, Hiroi started to cry again. One crazy girlfriend, and one had already dumped him. He dried his tears on his shirt and then texted Asuka. A good day today? She replied. Well, it's a nice day now. How are you, sweetie? Not so good. I have a really toxic, crazy ex, he sent. One of those you aren't allowed to leave me types? Yeah. Don't worry. She'll find someone else and get over it. I won't go crazy and make a lot of drama, sweetie. I know you won't. Asuka was the down-to-earth, practical type, and she knew how to have fun. She'd be a nice change of pace. Hey, if you buy me a bracelet from this store, we can go all the way next Saturday, Asuka texted. So soon, he replied. Well, I'll know that you love me. I'm worth it. I guess so, he replied, feeling uncomfortable. Enjo Kosai. Paid dating. He'd never even considered it, and it felt like a bait and switch, too. Hiroi put his phone away, and then picked it up again. He logged into Twitter. I am not dating Foxfire anymore. I broke up with her last night, Pivot tweeted. Oh, poor Pivot. Come meet me at Cape Town tonight, and I'll make you forget her, replied Super Saizuri, whoever that was. No, you won't, bitch! Don't you touch him, Foxfire replied. I'm just giving Pivot some space. It's not over yet, so you stay away from my man, Foxfire tweeted. It cannot be more over. Stay away from me, Pivot replied. I'll be back, and you'll be glad to see me. He shut off his phone. Hey, Dad, I need the truck to move furniture into Shinichi's new apartment. Can I borrow it? Just refill the tank. The key's on the table, his dad replied. Hiroi set off. He bought that new futon, and he helped Shin move things, lightening Shin's burdens as they went. They now had some second-hand chairs, a sofa, a kotatsu table, and all of Shinichi's electronics, tools, and his work table, all unloaded and set up in the clubhouse. His powers had helped immensely, but now he was starving. He needed lots of meat and iron. Hiroi went to buy food, and he called Yoshimi. Are we still good for tonight? I'm buying the food now, and I'll be glad to pick you up and Chiharu using my dad's truck. Sure, I'll be ready in 5 more minutes. And Yoshimi sent him her address. Hiroi bought the food and called Shin. Okay, I need Chiharu's number and address, he said. The whole time he wrote the information down on the back of the receipt from the barbecue. He programmed the address and phone number into his phone. Can you believe it? I just found out that Asuka is an Enjo Kosai girl. She said she'd go all the way for a bracelet from a jewelry store. Shinichi had to laugh. Hey, you should date the jewelry mama and get a discount. Is she pretty? She's as pretty as your mom. No joke. Shin had had a crush on Akane Matsui since junior high. He even had a glossy photo of Yokai Girl that Hiroi had avoided asking any questions about. He then said, well, maybe I will. Anyway, I'm calling Chi-chan now. Later. Hiroi ended the call and then called Chiharu. Hi, Chi-chan, it's Hiroi. Are you ready to see Shinichi's new apartment? I bought some Korean barbecue to eat too. Oh, sure, Matsui-kun. I just need to make a bottle for my sister. How soon will you be here? She asked. Maybe 14 minutes. Plenty of time. I'll grab a housewarming gift. Oh, you don't need to do anything like that. I got a bonus at work, so Shin's got everything. Just a little something, Matsui. Don't be all formal with me. I'm your best friend's girlfriend, Chiharu said and then laughed. Well, it's all right. Chiharu must have been waiting. She ran right out of the apartment to meet his truck. She had her short hair cut into a bob, and she was wearing some white shorts and a sleeveless blouse to match. She was carrying a small bag from the kombini. Hi, Hiroi. She gave him a kiss on the cheek like a little sister. Thanks for driving me. No problem. No problem at all, Chi-chan. We'll have fun tonight, he replied. We'll be picking up my friend Yoshimi next. Oh, I think I know her from art class. She does really nice woodblock prints. She's almost as good as Hokusai. Really? Okay, not that good, but she is good, Chiharu replied with a smile. You're really nice to take her with us tonight. She doesn't date much. Well, don't make it sound like she isn't cute. She is cute and smart, Hiroi replied. Well, yeah, but she's chubby and she's not as cute as me. Well, no, little sister, she isn't as cute as you, he said with a smile. Hey, I'm not a little girl. If I wasn't dating Shin-chan, you'd ask me out all the time. Admit it. Well, no, Chi-chan, I wouldn't. She gasped. But I'm so cute and sweet. Well, that's true, but... And then they pulled up to Yoshimi's apartment. Oh, right. Shin told me all about you. You're even naughtier than him, and you won't date a girl unless she's got big old boobs. Hey, that's not true. Yoshimi doesn't have big old boobs, he said, mimicking her. Well, then why? I'm so happy to be your friend. And honestly, I'm a jerk, and I'd make you mad, and then you'd dump me, and I wouldn't get to see you anymore. Oh, Hiroi, that just isn't true. I'd forgive you because you're really so kind. Trust me, Chiharu, I'm a bad boyfriend. Yoshimi was on her way. Her hair was in pigtails. Because you're so naughty, you wouldn't be able to keep your hands off. I'd still forgive you, you know, she said, and she flushed. No more of that talk. Smile for Yoshimi, Hiroi ordered, and he was very uncomfortable. He smiled and waved. Chiharu, being the smallest, climbed into the back and helped Yoshimi to climb in. She was wearing a sundress. Hi, Chiharu. Hi, Hiroi. Thanks for taking me. And she smiled cheerfully. Say, Yoshi-chan, how big are your boobs? Chiharu asked. Yoshimi blushed and looked away. Chi-chan, don't ask questions like that around Hiroi. You know how naughty he is. And he suddenly had the feeling that this conversation had been rehearsed. Tell me, mine are so small, I'm jealous. We'll make Hiro-chan be good, Chiharu said. How can we make him be good? Yoshimi asked. That's a good question. Hiroi drove on, trying to not laugh. You know, if I was so naughty, I'd just find out for myself, and then I'd tell Chiharu, and then I'd touch hers too, because I'd be such a hopeless pervert, Hiroi said, feigning outrage. I'm not a pervert. I never groped or peeped at Chi-chan once. It's true. I tried so hard to make him peep too, Chiharu said, and then she burst into giggles. Honestly, Yoshimi, your body isn't why I like you, Hiroi said. I'm glad, Yoshimi said. I like your body, though. Well, hey, I never said I didn't like your body. I just said, it's okay, Yoshimi interrupted. This has gone far enough. What music do you like? Well, I like complex metal guitars, the kind that they use for challenging melodies, Hiroi answered. Chiharu said, well, I like pop music. Yoshimi said, I like Vocaloids. So pop with a gimmick, Hiroi said. You make it sound dumb, but the programming they use is complex and it's fascinating, especially with the holograms, Yoshimi countered. I will concede the point. I didn't know we were having a debate, Hiroi. Hiroi responded by turning on the radio. They got to Shin's apartment, with the girls having a soft conversation and minimal comment from Hiroi, who was examining himself and wondering if he was being confrontational. Once inside, with Shin's music playing, the trio's mood had brightened considerably. Shinichi had helped Hiroi arrange the paper plates and food. All right, ladies, let's eat, and then we'll play games, Shin declared. Hiroi wondered what games Shin had in mind, a trifle suspicious. Yoshimi ate, but she also wanted to talk. Chiharu had been used to the silent eating of her male companions, but she engaged in the topic Yoshimi had brought up. I like the masks. Supers have the potential to do great things for humanity, Chiharu said. I don't trust them. Even the so-called heroes are very selfish, Yoshimi countered. Look at Officer Samson. What does he do to stop criminal masks? Not a thing. He just does public relations crap. He might as well not have powers for all that he does with them. While not adding anything, both men were thinking about the discussion. Were gifted people having an actual positive or negative impact on the rest of the world? Or even just Yokohama? Or were they all just a bunch of self obsessed jerks who didn't actually accomplish anything? He really wanted to have what he needed for a comfortable life and challenges to overcome. He left the big picture stuff to politicians. Shin now, he was thinking about what his gadgets could do to help the world, even though he also thought that he didn't actually have any powers. When their food was finished, Hiroi said, "You raise an interesting point, Yoshimi. Do we scale up expectations of masks to match their power levels? Do we judge them by their actions in terms of moral scales?" Yoshimi thought that the gifted had their morality eroded by their powers, so that they all eventually became sociopaths. Hiroi certainly didn't feel like a sociopath. Shin interrupted the debate by clapping. "Good talk. Let's play." He then turned on a party game on his video game console, and they played a movie trivia game. Yoshimi came in second. Shin won. "I own the game," he admitted with a sheepish grin. Considering the ice broken, he suggested they play strip mahjong. This prompted laughter. "What next? Strip shogi? Strip chess? Strip trivial pursuit?" Hiroi asked, chuckling. "Well, you got ideas?" Shin asked. Chiharu returned from the kitchen carrying some bottles of beer. "I know a drinking game for Iron Chef," she said. So they watched old episodes of Iron Chef and drank. "Hey, Hiro-chan," Chiharu said, "you should kiss Yoshi-chan already. How will you keep your naughty reputation?" Hiroi hated being put on the spot. "Yoshimi can let me know if she wants to be kissed, Chi-chan. You shouldn't be bossy," he said. Chiharu, flushed from her drink, stood up. "I just know that you like each other. You should do something about it. If I told Shin to kiss me, he'd do it." "Chiharu," Yoshimi said, "this isn't the way," and she looked down. "You're embarrassing me." "Well, let's go to the balcony and talk about it." Chiharu stumbled a little as she helped Yoshimi to sit up and led her to the balcony. They could see the city blinking at them. "Look at all those lights," Yoshimi said. "It's as if each one of them is a group of people living out there in the dark." Chiharu nodded, her head clearing somewhat in the fresh air. "Sure," Chi said. "And the light from Shin's apartment is like that?" Yoshimi nodded. "I'm not sure what I want out of life, but I'm 18. I should know by now." "It's okay. Lots of people need time to decide this. You don't need to have sex tonight, you know. I'm waiting until we graduate." "That is not what I meant," Yoshimi said. "Oh, since you brought it up, maybe I do want that." "Well, you can't wait until I graduate. You'd be done before that," she said, laughing sloppily. "You're right," Yoshimi said, grinning. "I guess I'll have to wait until my next lifetime when I can graduate with you." "Well, I will still respect you either way, okay?" Chiharu said. "Meantime, I want to go back and play a different game. Maybe one of those fighting games." But before Chi could leave, Yoshimi gave her a hug. "Ugh, you aren't wearing a bra and we touched nips," Chiharu complained, laughing. Yoshimi looked down. Stupid cool ocean breeze. Now she had to keep the boys from staring at her chest until she warmed up again. But then she thought, who cares? It's a natural thing. It's no big deal. She walked back inside. Shin was smoking again. "How do you get cigarettes and beer anyway?" she asked. "We're bad," Shin replied with a shrug. "Hiroi, is that futon yours?" Yoshimi asked. "Yeah. Why, are you sleepy?" "Maybe a little. Will you cuddle and keep me warm?" "Maybe I should take you girls home," he said, suddenly concerned. "I'm too drunk. My parents would be very upset," Chiharu protested. "And if Yoshimi is here, we can pretend that nothing bad happened." "Yeah, and you shouldn't drive, Hiroi. You drink just as much as me.
And she only had 2 bottles. Chiharu waved cheerfully. Okay, Hiroi said, but I don't want to hear any stories about me taking advantage later on. You asked me to cuddle you. So Hiroi unrolled the futon and straightened the blanket that he'd rolled up inside the mattress and went to fetch 2 pillows from the floor. I won't tell any lies, Hiroi, Yoshimi said. No one will ask me about tonight anyway. She climbed into the futon and pulled off her dress. Underneath, she was only wearing panties and stockings. She climbed under the blanket. You want me to cuddle, right? Hiroi asked. Come on, I'm not that unsexy, am I? Yoshimi asked. Hey, go for it, Hiroi. Be a gentleman, Shin urged, and gave Chiharu a kiss. Just as she had defeated him at the game. So Hiroi pulled off his shirt and pants and socks, which made Chiharu give a cheer, and then he slipped behind Yoshimi, still in his boxers. He put an arm around her waist, and she leaned against him. There, isn't this nice? Sure, Hiroi replied. What was he supposed to do? She was radiating warmth, and he felt it respond. She parted her thighs a bit, getting more comfortable, and his hips involuntarily bucked, and then Yoshimi gasped. What's that between my legs? He said, whispering. That's, my penis. Oh, he wants to be friends, does he? Shin heard this and laughed. He sure does. Hey, take it to your room, why don't you? Hiroi barked. You're the one who talks to his penis. Shin turned off the electronics and dimmed the lights. What does it say? Chiharu asked, following Shinichi to his bedroom. He says, why doesn't Chi-chan kiss me? And then closed the door. Yoshimi reached for Hiroi's hand and held it gently. She parted her thighs some more, and then closed them, holding his penis firmly. Hiro-chan, she whispered. Yes, Yo-chan? And his voice was husky to his ears. I'm scared of it. Will you cuddle some more and touch me a little? Oh, she was a virgin. Emmy hadn't been afraid, but that was okay. He knew what to do. Yo-chan, do you want me to make love to you? She nodded. But please stop if I ask. Of course, he soothed. And he gently kissed her and caressed her, touching her hips, her thighs, and her soft belly. She sighed and relaxed. This is nice, Yoshimi said, breathing more heavily. Hiroi looked and saw the camera, and he gave a smirk. It would see almost everything. She rolled over. Kiss me right now. I won't let you do anything until you kiss me, she whispered. As if you could stop. You're panting like a bitch in heat, Hiroi thought. I haven't even touched your boobs yet. But he gave her a kiss, and she melted. She kissed him back and let out a soft whimper. What are we going to do, Hiro? Well, I have a condom. I have a few, I mean, Hiroi replied. No, not that yet. Do you want me to keep touching you? I guess so. And so Hiroi continued to touch her, and he whispered her name. Hey, you should touch me too so you don't get scared. It's not scary, she said. It's just different. She did not tell him to stop, and Hiroi told her the magic of sweaty bodies. He was caught by surprise at the blood. Oh, shit. I didn't think I was big enough to do that, he said, horrified. Are you okay, Yo-chan? She smiled. I thought you knew about virgins. Well, Emmy didn't bleed this much. I'll be fine. Just help me clean up. I'm sore is all. Hiroi threw away his condom in the bathroom trash can and grabbed a wad of toilet paper. He rushed back to help her clean up. "Oh, Yo-chan, I'm sorry. Why didn't you tell me that it hurt you?" Hiroi said. "It's okay, silly. Aren't we adults? Relax." Hiroi was learning that he probably would never meet a woman he didn't like in bed. Yoshimi fell asleep in Hiroi's arms, and she woke up in his arms. Was she in love with Hiroi now? She rolled over and saw that Hiroi was wide awake and looking at her with his glasses on. "That's kind of unsettling. How long have you been watching me sleep?" she asked. "I don't know. I've just been thinking about you," he replied. "Aw, that's sweet. I guess. I'm a jerk. I'm bad at being a boyfriend. You should not fall in love with me," he informed her. "What? Why?" "I'm moody. I'm bad at considering others' feelings. I like sex a lot more maybe than you will. And I'll be gone all night at work sometimes. Why are you trying to convince me how awful you are? I don't want to get attached and have you leave me." "Hiroi, why would I leave you?" "Why does anybody? It just happens. It will be nice, and then it won't be anymore. I'm your first, and you'll have special feelings about that. I understand that, but I'm no good," Hiroi said and sighed. Chiharu walked up to them in her underwear. "What's up, sluts? Are you giving her the 'I'm leaving you so you can't leave me' speech?" She squatted down by Yoshimi, giving Hiroi an unintentional eyeful. "Chiharu, holy crap!" She screamed and ran away. "All right, well, that worked. Let's get dressed," Hiroi said. Yoshimi laughed. She pulled on her dress and her panties again. "Do you give that speech a lot?" she asked. "No, just for you. I haven't been with many women since Emmy left. She really hurt me." Hiroi also dressed. "Better not let you be late for school," he said. "How did I forget it's Monday?" Somehow they were able to change at home and get to school on time. The truck got them there, but it was a near thing, though. Hiroi texted his dad. "The truck is at my school. I left some money in the glove compartment. I'm very sorry." "I'll pick it up with your mom. You're doing fine," Goro replied. Hiroi did not think about his schoolwork. He was thinking about Yoshimi and Harumi and Emi. He was very fond of Yoshimi. She was smarter than him. Well, she got better grades anyway. And she had been an eager lover, and she was hopefully unlikely to leave him. Harumi was also pretty smart as he thought about it, and she was exciting, and she was a mask with very impressive gifts. At lunchtime, Yoshimi sat beside him, and some girls covered their mouths and whispered at the sight. Yoshimi said stiffly, "Hiroi, I like you. I don't date much, and I think you and me can be a good match, at least until college. You're a lot smarter than me. There's no way we'd end up at the same university. Save the pain and break up with me now," Hiroi said. "You are such a jerk." "I told you, I'm no good." Yoshimi finished eating in silence and left quickly, with a parting shot calling him a coward. And that stung. Chiharu reached over to squeeze his shoulder. "You have to let love back in, Hiroi. Emmy's gone, but you're still alive." "Get that from a movie, Chichan? Life ain't a movie." Hiroi left, carrying his tray. Shin growled at him and put an arm around Chiharu. "He said that from his pain, Chichan. He's still your friend. He's just a jerk." "He's our jerk," Chiharu said. "We have to help him, but I don't know how." Hiroi did not meet Shin for the train home. He sat on the roof of the dojo, hiding. I can't let anyone love me, and I can't love anyone. Love always brings pain. I've got to become self-contained, like an oyster. And he tried mentally to build the shell over his heart. He looked at his wallet. He was almost out of money again. Damn, he'd need a new job. And that meant talking to Shin, who was mad at him, or Harumi, who was insane. He couldn't talk to her, unless he found her. Could he really go looking for her? Maybe it was time to just be normal. He lightened himself and jumped down without looking to see if anyone was around. On the train, he saw a girl maybe 12 years old with pigtails and really broad shoulders. Oh, the poor thing. She'd never have a boyfriend. She was too stocky and masculine looking. He walked inside his apartment and found that he was alone, like normal. He concentrated on his homework at home anyway. Shin texted him, "You really screwed up, bro. You made Chi-chan cry. And you bailed on me." "Sorry, life sucks. I know. That's why you gotta be good to who you've got. Namely, us. We need a job. Can we plan after I'm done with homework?" "You're not forgiven, dick." When his homework was done, he decided to check out that jewelry shop. Maybe Chiharu would forgive him with a gift. So he went to that store that Asuka had recommended. What would he do about her? He'd see her at the pool, at school, all sorts of places. He would have to make a choice. He looked around at the jewelry and the gifts. "Something for your girlfriend?" the owner asked. "My best friend's girlfriend, actually," Hiroi said with a laugh. She showed him a necklace made of cord with an odd-colored cube. The colors changed as the light hit it from other angles. "This is very popular," she said, "and best of all, it's affordable." Hiroi bought one, and some chocolate, and he thanked the owner. She was genuinely nice, he decided, not just shopkeeper nice. He ate at his favorite soba shop. The soba mama teased him about staying away because he was too shy to admit he had a crush on her. It had been a running joke between them. With that done, he called Chiharu on the phone. "I'm not speaking to you, jerk," called Hiroi, she said. "I have a gift to say I'm sorry," he replied. "All right. Shin's at my apartment with me. I guess you can come over." Hiroi hopped on a bus and went directly to Chiharu's home. Chiharu's mother welcomed him in. "Hello, Matsui-kun. Chi-chan is in her room with Nagasawa-kun." He thanked her and took off his shoes. "We've made a plan," Shinichi announced, as Hiroi entered. "A plan for how you can be forgiven. It will work for your future jerkery, too," Chiharu added. "We wrote instructions and drew visual aids. Well, I drew them," she said, and she giggled as he looked it over. Hiroi read the paper. "The ritual abasement?" he asked incredulously. Shin pushed his glasses back. "Yep, this is the new tradition for when Hiroi does something particularly jerkish." Hiroi read the words and looked at the dances that would accompany them. "So basically, I hop around and pose like a kabuki actor and cross my eyes while talking about what a piece of garbage I am and how awesome you are, and then you forgive me?" Chiharu nodded. "Humiliation builds character." Hiroi set the gift bag down on her desk and sighed. "I grieve," he said, hopping to the left on one foot, "for I have offended my friend Chiharu." He then crossed his eyes and traced a circle who is perfect, like a goddess of the sun, and I, Hiroi Matsui, am an artless, dog-hearted lewdster? He turned to the right and wheeled his head around to the left to look at them sideways and grimace. I must beg forgiveness to be in her presence and breathe her air. She and Shin laughed. Your abasement amuses me. What gift did you bring? And thus was born the ritual abasement. Ooh, she exclaimed, watching the light refract from the cube-shaped pendant. If I weren't mad at you, I'd kiss you. Maybe even let you have a booby touch. Over or under the sweater vest? Hiroi asked, teasing. She opened the chocolate and shared some with Shin, and she smiled with delight as she took a bite. Under bra, she whispered. But mad at you I am. However, you are forgiven. No booby touch for you. She gave him a close hug. Remember who your friends are, Matsui. I won't forget.